Salutations and happy Thanksgiving, YouTube. It's Rico Rocks 2001 making another video. I thought I would do a comparison between the different variations of the Game Boy Advance. Well, 3 of the 4, but there's a reason why I don't have the 4th one there. But it looks similar to one of the 3, I can assure you. On the left is the original design Game Boy Advance that came out in 2001. This is actually a limited edition Game Boy Advance. It's the Pokemon Center New York edition. I found it at a retro game store for a good price, so I decided to bring it on home. I've had it with me for quite some time, and it's a really cool collector's item. Right there, this may look like a limited edition Pikachu SP. It's actually a third-party housing. It's not the official Pikachu SP, which I really want to get my hands on. This is actually just a generic one. It was originally a Pearl White SP that I got, which was had a lot of scratches and the casing looked pretty bad. So I ordered this and say, hey, I can have a Pikachu SP. Well, obviously it's a third-party one, but it still looks pretty cool, don't you think? And on the far right is a Game Boy Advance Micro. Oh, and more information on the SP. There are 2 versions of the SP. There's the earlier ones, which has a front light, and then there's the later ones, like what this one is, which is backlit. I don't have the front light model because most people who are after an SP, they don't want a front light model. They want a backlit model. Okay, sorry about that edit you saw there. The camcorder battery. Well, the battery in my camcorder was about to die, so I had to charge it. But other than that, let's get back to the video. Reason why most people don't want a AGS-001 is because most people who are after a SP, they want one that's backlit, not front lit. All micros are backlit, although they have flaws of their own. And the original Game Boy Advance is not backlit. However, you can do one of 2 modifications. But there's also 2 different models. There's the 32-pin ribbon cable, and then there's the 40-pin. This is the 40-pin. The only difference I can tell you between the 32 and the 40-pin is you'd have to take it apart and see for yourself. You can either do a front light mod, which basically you use the original screen, you rip the foam off the back of the screen, and you basically solder in a front light, and then you would have a front lit screen. Or you can do the popular option, which is basically make this screen backlit. You take out this screen and put a screen from an AGS 101 to have a backlit Game Boy Advance original. The choice is yours. I'm not going to force you to do either way, but I'm just a person who's basically explaining the differences. For the SP, again, there's 2 models, the 001 and the 101. So let's go ahead and take a look at the original Game Boy Advance first. So, of the 3, this is the most comfortable. It feels like a miniature Super Nintendo controller, just with fewer buttons. You got a non-backlit screen. You got your directional pad, your A and B, your start and select right there, the rubber, your shoulder buttons, your external connector, which is used for the link cable, but there's also a wireless adapter that you can slot in here. You could also use the Gamecube link adapter, which holds into these notches right there. And back here is where you stick your games in. This will work with Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and of course Game Boy Advance games. And back here is where you stick your 2 AA batteries. Anyway, it takes 2 AA's. I'll go ahead and demonstrate it what it looks like when you turn it on, but I'm not going to do some gameplay on this system because obviously it's not backlit. I mean, you could try playing it, but look at the screen. I mean, who would want to play a game with a non-backlit? You can use a worm light or a front light the system, but most people say backlight the system. But other than that, I really like this system. You can also get this in other assortment of colors. There's the normal purple, the translucent reddish, which kind of looks pink, a white one, and several other colors. In fact, if you actually watch the Diesel Deucey YouTube channel, he has a limited edition Hello Kitty edition Game Boy Advance. If you want to see that, I say check out his channel. I will have a link in the description to his video. Next, we're going to take a look at the Game Boy Advance SP. The backlight model, that is. The only differences between this and the front light is, well, looking on the outside, it's basically the same. You got the same buttons in the same location, same cartridge slot, L&R, volume slider, with a sticker on the back. Now, this is the replacement sticker. I wanted to use the original sticker from the original AGS 101, but it was worn out and looked pretty bad. One of these days I'll order an actual 101 sticker on here and take this one off. And yeah, don't ask what happened here. I was trying to have the sticker there, read the instruction booklet sticker, stay on there. Unfortunately, I overdid it with the super glue, but it doesn't really affect gameplay. Now I'll go ahead and open the system. Actually, before I do that, this is the link cable slot, and right here, this is your proprietary connector. This allows you to use as charging your system. Also, another thing, keep in mind, the original Game Boy Advance and every other Game Boy model, even the Micro, they all have a headphone slot. So technically when Nintendo designed the SP, they went pre-Apple, if you know what I mean. They basically took off the headphone jack, so you would need an adapter. However, if you're looking for a good adapter, this is one I'd recommend. It's called the Wireless Wave. Although I think this comes with wireless earbuds, but when I got it, it never came with those. You slot this on the top of your SP. You see it lines up. This also works on the 001 model. I've had this longer than this. Well, it's just as long as I had the original 001. You got your link cable slot. This might work with the... Well, this will work with obviously a link cable. Not sure about the wireless link adapter or the GameCube one. If you were to use those, I don't know why you'd want to plug this in. You would obviously have this not there. You got your charging connector, and you have some headphones. This thing actually works very well with headphones. I've used this adapter when I play Game Boy Advance games, and it does a very good job. I'm very impressed by this. Oh, and I don't know if you can find this online. If you can, I'll go ahead and show the information. It's made by Game Elements Gemini. It's made in China. Try searching online. I don't know if you can, but if you can, then go for it. If you want to charge and listen to headphones at the same time, get that. I'll go ahead and show you the controls. They're actually very comfortable. I love the clicky buttons on the SP. Even though the start and select feel nice, and that's your, depending on which model it is. On the front light, it turns off and on the front light. On the backlit, it actually makes it brighter or dim. Let me show you what I mean. This is a backlit model, even though the sticker may say front lit, but trust me, it's backlit. See? Light, dim, light, dim, light, dim. Yeah. So overall, the SP is actually a very nice handheld. If you were after an SP, I would recommend the AGS 101, but if you really don't care about the screen being backlit or not, then go for the frontline model. And last but not least, the Game Boy Advance Micro. This is just a miniature Game Boy Advance. This came out a year after the Nintendo DS. Nintendo only released this because they thought the DS would be a flop, but it turned out to be a success. So getting these are kind of high demand, but these are still pretty cool. You've got your directional pad, your A and B buttons. Select and start are down there. They light up. Your shoulder buttons are at the top. There's a charging connector. I'll get onto that in a moment. Your speaker's right there. The speaker was right there on the original, and the SP, you saw those holes, those are for the speaker. Your cartridge slot, again, I'll get onto that in a moment. Power switch that turns it on, and something that the SP does not have a headphone jack. And on the side here you have a volume. Unlike the others, which has a slider or a wheel, you basically press the button to turn it on, up, or to turn it down. And to change the brightness, you hold L and press up and down on the volume. Also, what's really cool about these micros is some models, or the majority of them, have these two little hooks that clasp that you have a tool that you press these two, and then you can rip the faceplate off and swap the color on it. There are also some models that don't do that, but I've only seen one, which was on YouTube. It was by a YouTuber known as CrusherBad64. He had a Game Boy Micro that does not have removable faceplates, but the one I have does. And this is the only faceplate I have, so maybe online I'll find some faceplates of different colors. Now, back onto the cartridge connector. This only works with Game Boy Advance games. This will not work with Game Boy Color or original Game Boy games. If that's what you're aiming towards, I would recommend the SP or the Advance or the Color. Although I'd recommend the SP because it has a nice backlit system. But if you want something more classic, then the Advance and Color are the way to go. Another thing, this charging connector I need to mention. There are some people who say you can use the DS Lite charger for this. Whoever said that is completely more dumb than they look. No offense, but this connector is much, much bigger than a Nintendo DS Lite charging connector. Trust me, I've tried. The DS Lite connector is much smaller. I mean, you might as well try putting a PS Vita 1000 charging cable into a PSP Go. That will not work. And if you try doing it the other way around, again, it won't work. But other than that, I'll go ahead and fire up the micro. See, you can turn up the volume by pressing up on the button. And let me show you the brightness. You hold L. See, it's getting dimmer, brighter. You only have 5 levels on this for brightness. And also, to remove the, I don't have the tool, so you can remove the faceplate. So if you don't do this correctly, you will damage the latches that hang on to this screen protector, but luckily mine are still intact. And you can change this with a much better screen protector. Mine's a bit dirty, but I'll clean it. So, other than that, of the 3 Game Boy Advance models, which one's your favorite? The original, the SP, the backlit SP, or frontlit, or the micro? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Since I have nothing else to say, I'm to end this off here. And have a happy Thanksgiving.